Holy Grail, we're back. We're doing the Holy Grail of one of my favorites, my go-to dish. If I could eat it every night, I would, but I probably wouldn't live for very long. Steak and potatoes. A beautiful, nice, thick Angus New York strip. And then a slightly different take on potatoes, not smashed, not roasted, but like if you mixed them together. It's a crispy smashed potato. The beauty of it is you use these smaller potatoes, you boil them very quickly, like blanch them almost, and then you smash them on a sheet pan and then you bake it on the sheet pan at a high temperature to really get almost like a potato chip feel, but you still have like the fluffy potato inside. It's simply incredible. We're gonna get into it. Let me go over the ingredients real quick. I have, very simple, my 2 strip steaks here. I have just about a pound of small fingerling, baby potatoes here, whatever you have is great. 2 garlic cloves, some salt and pepper, some butter to baste the steak in, a little bit of oil to help sear the steaks. And that's all I got for you. That's it. So let's get into it. So first thing I'm gonna do is get my potatoes boiling because those take the longest out of everything and I just wanna make sure I'm not too far behind. So I'm gonna put all of those potatoes into my pot. I'm gonna cover this with just about like an inch of water over top of the potatoes. So you do not need to fill this pot all the way to the top because you're just wasting time basically in water at that point. You just want enough water to kind of come over top of the potatoes. Like I said, by like a thumb's worth. I don't know if that's an inch, but in my head it is. All right, so I'm gonna take my steaks out. And you wanna let these try and come as close to room temperature as you can before you sear them. Because once you sear them, if they're still too cold, they're gonna, number 1, release too much moisture, which is not gonna get a good sear. And number 2, they're gonna shrink up a lot more and a lot more quickly than they need to because you're going from a cold environment to a very hot environment. I'm gonna take my steaks, I'm gonna season each side with some salt and pepper, and that's it. I'm not gonna do any other seasonings here because I like to keep it simple. You know, you buy a nice piece of meat, let the meat do its job. Don't cover it with no Montreal steak seasoning. Don't cover it with Worcestershire, however the hell you say that word. None of that. Wow, I'm being offensive today. Everybody uses Montreal and Worcestershire sauce. Pat it in, flip her over, and get that other side going. So our potatoes are going. Those are gonna wanna boil for probably 5 minutes. It really depends. You just wanna make sure that they're tender enough to smash. So a good way to tell with that is just taking a knife or fork and making sure that they're, you know, tender enough for that to go all the way through without meeting any major resistance on the way. I'm gonna put a little bit of my canola oil into my pan because that's what I'm gonna sear in. You always wanna make sure that you have some sort of oil base in your pan before you sear, because if you don't, you know, it's not gonna give the fat and the steak anything to kind of work with to render out and get you a good crust. Potatoes are boiling, our steaks are seasoned, coming to room temp, oil's in the pan, and that's all I got for you right now. So I'll see you in a second when these potatoes are boiled. All right, so our potatoes are almost done. They're boiling, they're very close, so once they're done, I'll show you what we do next. But right now, I just have my pan over top my heat, some canola oil in there. Before I put this in, you wanna listen for a really nice like sizzle as soon as you put it in. Otherwise, your pan's too cold and these aren't gonna get a good sear on them. So again, pan on high heat, some oil in there, let it sit for just about a minute, and then go ahead and put your steaks in. Hear that? Camera 2. So these are gonna sear for, let's say, 3 to 4 minutes on each side. These are thick boys, thick boys. So it may take a little bit longer, but you wanna keep that heat pretty close to high, somewhere between medium and high. You wanna modulate that just so the steak doesn't burn. And yeah, that's it. So we'll let those sit. Our potatoes are finishing up, and we'll come back once we turn those over. I'm just gonna flip these very quickly. We have a really nice color on one side already. It's been just about 3 minutes. I'm gonna let that other side go. Make sure you keep your heat high because you don't want the other side to start to steam. And now our potatoes are done, so I'm gonna drain these off, and then we're gonna get to smashing. I have a sheet pan here, which we're gonna go on, and then I just have, you know, something to smash them. It can be a pan. This is just like a little cylindrical stainless steel little Bain Marie I have. Again, you can use a pan, you can use a roller, a wine bottle, a glass, whatever you got. Something with a flat bottom so you get a really nice even smash on these. And make sure that they are tender Like when I take my knife and I go in, it goes in very easily. So you want to make sure that they're that. Otherwise, when you go to smash them, they're gonna crumble, and that's not the tea, sis. So you don't want that. And just very light pressure. You don't want to like hawk it down. Very light pressure. You just want to smash it. And then if it comes apart like that, that's okay. That's just the skin. You can kind of like puzzle it back together a little bit. And then once it bakes, it'll kind of bake together and like kind of crisp up together. So we'll try another one. Again, very soft pressure. So these are what they should really look like. Again, if it looks like that, that's okay. Just kind of flatten it down and it'll bake together. But this is like an ideal shape, size, all that good stuff. So potatoes are smashed. They're all ready to go. So all I'm gonna do is just take some canola oil and I got 2 fingers over top. I'm just gonna drizzle a little bit of that oil right over top of the potatoes. This is just gonna help them basically like fry and crisp up really nicely. And then all you wanna do is just hit them with a little bit of salt and pepper. So I'm just gonna I have some really nice some really nice, thick, coarse salt. Thork salt. Have you ever heard of Thork salt? It sounds like some Rick and Morty type. And then some pepper that goes right on top. And then these are going into the oven. Brendan, that's how you say oven. Okay, so I'm gonna set these aside. Let's get these steaks in order because they're both gonna go in the oven at the same time. Look at these beauties, look at that. Camera 2, look at that. Looks so good, that color is just gorgeous. So what I'm gonna do, I have 2 cloves of garlic here that I just literally smashed with a knife on the cutting board. You don't need to take the paper off or anything, just stick those in there. I have some butter. I'm gonna cut 2 little pats. Wow, my words are not working today. Wow, I'm really pushing an agenda today. Okay, so that's all I want in there. Just some butter and garlic. I'm gonna put this into the oven to let that finish cooking. Let those potatoes get in there. I'd say the potatoes probably need maybe like 10 minutes max just to get really nice and crisp since they're already obviously cooked. And then the steaks, it obviously depends on what temperature you want. I'm gonna cook these to like a rare, medium rare, because that's exactly where I like them. So they're probably gonna spend right around 5 minutes or so in the oven. Bring them out, let them rest, slice them up, and we'll all gag together, let me tell you. All right, so let's do it. Steaks are done, and these look good. They look really good. Let me not curse any more than I have or make up any new words. So I'm gonna take these out of the pan, let them just chill on the cutting board for just a minute or two, just to let all those juices get all nice and reincorporated. Put the garlic cloves on there, set your pan aside, let that cool down. So these guys also look great. You wanna make sure that you use, like as you're going to get them up, don't use tongs or anything because they are gonna be relatively fragile. So you wanna make sure that you have like some sort of spatula. I just have like a fish spatula here. Something that you can kind of like get up underneath them real quick. So just like that, flip them over, and they should stay like a nice one piece like this. That wasn't a great example, but you know what I mean. They should definitely be crispy. These are definitely crispy. Okay. So then with these, they're really done at this point. I mean, you can hit them with a little bit more salt and pepper if you want to. But I kind of just like to leave them. So I'm gonna grab a plate while these are relaxing, and we'll put it all together and we'll see how this looks. All right, so let's get to plating. I'm just gonna put some of these potatoes on here. Obviously, I'm gonna take the prettiest ones. Potatoes are on. Let's cut into one of these steaks. This is gonna be an intense moment. Moment of truth. All right. Oh, buddy. Look at that, perfect medium rare. You couldn't ask for better, you really couldn't. Next time you go, you say, I want Brendan's medium rare. They're gonna have no clue what the f you're talking about because they don't know who I am. But this is a gorgeous steak. Look at that. God bless. God bless America. All right. So I'm gonna leave the ends off just because they're not Super cute on the plate. And then go ahead and lay that sucker right on there. Take your garlic clove. And that's it. That's all. Gorgeous, beautiful, simple, new take on steak and potatoes. You don't have to have, you know, like a super heavily seasoned, like drenched in butter kind of steak. Let it speak for itself. New take on the potatoes, so you don't have those really heavy mashed potatoes. Let me try a piece. That's it. That's all. That's it. I mean, it really, that's all. That's as good as it gets. That is my holy grail of steak and potatoes. Make it at home. Let me know how you like it. I know you're gonna like it, so just let me know how much you like it, basically, is the question. So let me know what else you wanna see in this series. We have a few other things planned coming up, but as always, you know, I'm here to listen to you guys, see what you want. So let's do it. As always, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're slowly creeping up towards 200. So let's smash through 200, and then the next thing you know, we'll be smashing through 200,000, and then we'll be smashing 200 million, and before you know it, I'll rule the world. So, see you in the next one. Thanks.